Can you see it on your thing? Is it going live or no?
Yeah, usually there's a little bit of a delay here.
Yeah, usually there is, but
It looks like, because Clem had commented before we went live, and that's not showing, so I'm guessing. Yeah, we're on.
we're on. All right, we are on. Good morning, afternoon, whatever the hell this is. This is Monday, St. Patrick's Day. I'm sitting here with two other bearded guys that do have much better looking beards than mine. I'm working on it, right, Andrew? It's gonna take time. Good afternoon, everybody. Sam Russell, because he's so far away from us watching it. He so far away. Yeah. We are Doug Arnold. How you doing, Clem? How you doing?
He says loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Very good. So anyway, Tom Hollaby, how you doing, sir? All right. Share this. We're gonna be talking crap. We're gonna be talking a little bit about what we did, what kind of crap we did this past weekend with these two gentlemen here. And when I'm saying gentlemen, it's a little bit of a stretch. Alpha Charlie Concepts, how you doing? John Krantz, Lynn Bergstrom, all right, hello. We're in the coffee house, so you will hear some sounds behind. Some soy mocha lattes are being made. This is the day and age we live in. But we're here after training this full weekend, and for some of us, it was more like 2.5 weeks. These two fellas are about to embark on a long journey back home after spending some time here at Fort Honey Badger. So we're drinking coffee or tea, whatever the case might be. And we're going to talk a little bit about our weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about other things. Hey, Chris Sofana, how you doing, brother? And we may address some. I mean, it would be surprising considering which faces you see on your screens that we may address some painful and controversial topics. We may even mention some things that may rub people wrong because all we want to do is be overnight successful. You know what I mean? We like insta famous personalities here trying to get into this shit and have millions of followers and all that good shit. Anyway, this past weekend, together with Andrew and Lewis, I had a good fortune to co-instruct in the class that we did kinda under the frame of shooter fighter matrix, but the focus in that was more of a shooter dimension, yet within the matrix. And we had some observations. We had some, I wouldn't say revelations, but to some degree to us, maybe students had some more of a revelation type of things. But I think for me also, actually, personally, had some revelations with my very uneven eyes and when it comes to using the optics on the pistol. So I'm going to ask first both Andrew and Lewis to kind of give their take on what they saw, maybe their short think into how this idea kind of, I know how it developed. We talked about it once and then we started talking more and then we exchanged a few messages. This is what I want to teach. And of course, each of them sends me like about 6 days worth of material. This is what I want to teach. And I'm like, yo, hey, Turtle, how you doing? Long time no see. I understand you want to squeeze your 6 days and you want to squeeze your 6 days into a 2-day class. And I appreciate that and I get it. But temper yourselves, fellas.
Yeah.
So that was interesting process. And still at the end of this class, I mean, would you guys both agree that it was like, it was so much information to be shared and without even, now, at some point students want to go like, but if we, and you go like, yeah, there are answers and we can do drills. And then you're going like, shit, it's 5:30 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so we always talk about in the training world, right, hitting them with the fire hose.
Yeah.
And I think what we did the last 2 days was closer probably to like when they airdrop the water on the
Oh
fire.
yeah, those airplanes that drop fucking
You know?
6,000 gallons all at once.
Yeah, like just stand there with your mouth open. The plane's coming by, to give you a
You'll
drink.
be fine.
Yeah. So I think we did a little bit of that. Um, th- there is a huge scope just in that shooting portion of shooter fighter matrix, right? Like we didn't even. What was the longest shot that we took? 10 yards.
No, I think it was 14.68
Okay.
yards.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, think to Eli Dickens
Yeah.
having to make a 40-yard shot
Yeah.
in the mall. Like we didn't have the time, to even get into that.
Although
of
it was in our exchanges, we had it written in
Yeah.
longer range shooting. It's a shooter fighter matrix where the 2.5 is pretty mandatory. We didn't even get to 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it. I think I felt we did a good job finding that balance between depth and breadth, and letting people get things to where they could assess specific sucks
Yep.
to work on once they go home.
And it was awesome with both Andrew and you is that, students were walking up to you guys and kind of going like, hey, look, I have this problem. And I saw on the sideline these little, 5, 7, 10-minute conversations going on where guys are walking off and then they're fucking like in a hurry taking notes, writing their shit down.
I want a copy of all their notes.
Which is awesome. Well, he's outside of the screen here, but we have Josh here, who's within our Better Special group, Better Secretive group, is going to be like a Fort Knox of knowledge, wisdom, and like absolutely depraved shit that we say during the classes. So some of those may become eventually patches and T-shirts, but you're going to have to wait, right, Josh? Andrew, your take on like overall feel within the class, what was going on as far as students' perception of what we were doing, in relationship to, I guess, what we all three to a certain degree had in our minds prior to the class, how it's going to look, how it's going to go, how I'm going to have this, full control of the chaos, and, after 26 minutes of this, we're going to do 32 minutes of this, right?
Yeah, so, it was a deep dive into the fundamentals, and I've done a lot of performance-based classes where that's what they're trying to achieve, but the scope is not so fighting-oriented as we were putting it. And that's always the thing behind it when we are teaching a class. So it's kind of like a lot of times when you look at shooting, like first people think of it as shooting is this, and then they realize there's more. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which way my hand should go. More to it. And then the way we were doing it, it's stretching out even further just in the shooting aspect with the application to the fight, especially when we're diving deep and looking at exactly addressing every variable that happens within each drill and how that drill would apply to a fight. So it was very fire hosed, but it exposed them to so much that it's kind of like they were gaining new information to evaluate within themselves that they didn't know was even there. And, like we were talking about, I'm putting this class on my resume as a class I took because I was learning from Lewis and Sonny, and me trying to unleash my autism and control it so that they have room, which was a struggle for me. And then it was. I like straight up. That was a learning experience for me too. But then hearing them talk, and then me just trying to be like maintaining like my own questions that I got beyond that, and like then the different roads we were taking. It was very interesting. I think that the students, more than anything, gained perspective outside of their own. I think we all gained perspective outside of our own. And I think it gave us all a broader scope to look at everything we do.
Yeah, it's, to me personally was, as those who train with me know, I don't really, I by no means go autistic or in super depth about performance shooting or marksmanship. Yes, there are relatively small areas where people need to hit and all that stuff. And yes, I cover, the grip, the trigger, the how to work the sides, but everything is more from your structure within the movement.
Mm-hmm.
This is where my focus is. This is where I'm autistic. And when I thought about it, watching, well, let me derail this conversation a little bit and like hit you guys with potentially risky question. You hear that? Someone is getting some coffee, man. So deal with that sound. All right, Chris, go back and work. Make some money so you can come to classes.
Clem, how is the audio? If we continue talking while that's going on, are you hearing?
I think it's pretty loud. I think they stopped. So anyway, I'm hitting both Lewis and Andrew with a hard question. And was that?
Watch the dog.
Oh. Oh yeah, we also have a dog here in the coffee house. So in jet, oh, they say audio is good. All right.
Okay.
So here's the question: this shooting, self-defense, self-preservation, self-protection industry, the way it is today, is it savable? And second part of the question: is it worth to attempt a revival of it, the way it is today? Your take.
So you and I and Tom had a conversation. Lewis and I talk all the time too. But you had said at one point something. You said this industry is not worth saving, and to me it opened my eyes. Instead of trying to continue on and be with it, create something better. And so I've started saying, I made a live stream saying the gun community is not worth saving, and I expressed my thoughts at that time, and that's still where I'm at now. I think there are very awesome people within this industry.
Absolutely.
That some of the best people I've ever met were within this. Now, that also is because that's where my focus is. There's a lot of things I would like to go into, but that's where I'm at. That's what I have time for. So there are some people that I'm trying to bring in. When I go and take classes that are outside of this training circle, I'm trying to be a good representative of our circle. And I'm trying to be the best student I can be. And I think that we could bring them into our circle, but it like the conversation we were having, they need to want to be there, or at least their mind needs to be ready to be there. So something better that's not simply about shooting, that is not glamorizing the personalities
or special forces tier one,
Yeah.
larger than life stuff,
but
right?
but also the celebrities,
Yeah.
not even so much this SF guy or head competition guy. It's kind of like there's too much idolization going on. It's like guys will say I have friends who'd be like, well, this guy did this, so I'm not going to question it. And I go, hey bro, question everything, find the truth. And I think that's what we are trying to do. And it's not just about the training for us. It's about the whole culture. It's about being better people. And if we continue on that, we will create something better. And it doesn't have to be bigger.
No. Most of the time when it's bigger, it cannot be better.
So,
Examples abound.
Lewis, so I think before answering that question, we get into a kind of a definitional thing, right? So James was very clear in how he perceived what he thought of definitionally as the gun community
Versus
the gun culture, right?
or industry.
Right. Yeah, I think community and industry
Yeah.
were more in line,
Yeah.
and then culture is what he had us in, where you pull over to help the lady change her tire,
Yeah.
right? But calling it gun culture
Made it about the gun.
brings it more about the gun. That said, I do have a problem with moving away from words because they've been bastardized, right? Like,
Don't drop the baby just because the water is shitty.
right. So what is a man? Just because the modern definition may have, depending who you ask, mean a lot of different things, we know what being a man should mean. So we should seek to reclaim that word, I believe. Same thing as the using suppressor instead of silencer. That's a big one for me. Um, and it might just be because I want to continue that fight for James, but I don't think we should allow the hijacking of language keep us hopping from term to try and redefine what it is that we do. I think so. Therein lies a little bit of an issue because I think, as to steal from John Lovell, like warrior poets, right?
Yeah.
We should be thinkers before shooters, to steal from Travis Haley.
Yep.
We should be thinkers before shooters. We should be fighters before shooters. We should be good people before gun people. So there.
So would you say that we need what needs to happen? It should not be a new gun culture. It should be a new culture of a man with a capital fucking M.
Yeah, maybe all caps. Right.
Interesting.
So maybe there does need to be a new category that we can define deliberately that encompasses all of those things. And it's interesting then when you start talking about where faith lies
Yeah.
as a piece of that.
But let's not offend people. Let's not talk about our faith.
I think we've got the wrong three guys to worry about offending people. So I had a student, very early when I was kind of reestablishing my faith at dinner at El Vallarta in Camden,
Yeah.
ask me, how important I thought faith is in your progress down the warrior path. And it's an interesting question that keeps getting more interesting as you ask it. So, long way of philosophically, like, do I think the gun culture is worth saving? I think my answer is yes to that, because if we go by the definition of what it stood for, the way that Jaeger said it, there's a reason to fight for those values. Whether we have a different word to mean the same thing, I'm okay with leaving that term, again, because the focus, I think, is on the wrong thing.
Yes,
right? We talked about those two word things.
Definitional collapse too, right?
Gun culture, and people focus on the gun part of it,
But not culture.
but not that all the culture that goes with it. So that war belt in my trunk
Makes me part of it, right?
right? But I'm not going to help this single mom change her tire or carry the stroller down the escalator, or
Yeah. Or
So-
it's not my fight when something does happen, right?
right. I don't want to get sued,
No, man, it really was interesting, guys. It was not a big class. We'll discuss that a little bit later in this live stream, but I think to me at least, being on the inside, yeah, we stayed on the topic, we stayed on the message, but the fucking deviations that kind of materialized organically during the class, I think they were fucking awesome.
Yes.
I mean, some of the comments, some of the questions that guys that attended asked, and then interaction between three of us, the way it kind of took a life of its own, it was freaking awesome. And one of the new students, that's what he commented. He said that, Philip, he said it was very refreshing of how fucking alive it felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He goes like, it wasn't just delivery of like, a dry curricula, or you know what I mean. He goes like, it was alive. It was interactive class, not just like, you do this and don't question that. Who are you? Have you been in the first detachment Delta? No, shut up. You don't have nothing to say. Here are my skivvies to show that I have SEAL Team 6 background. Forget about it. He goes like, it was very human, very human. And I enjoy that a whole lot, man, because it's, regardless of our accolades and fucking, whatever pedigree you may have from the past, we still bleed red. We still, our excrement still stinks one way or the other, and we all die, and we all die. So, yeah, I agree with that. That there is a definitional collapse. What is culture? What is industry? What is whatever else we have going on under the gun world? But I would like to just, like for me personally, I would want to also replace the gun, because at the end of it, the gun is just what we have on our belts now. You know what I mean? But what sits here is 5 men. And if were something to happen here, if there were 5 guns here on the table, they wouldn't change a damn thing. I do believe that 5 of us would be able to change quite a bit. And developing that, it's not just a skill. It's understanding through, through knowledge you suffer in classes, if classes are well structured. To finding your suck, and that is humbling off in itself. Me as an instructor finding out that, I haven't even experimented until you guys started addressing your way of working optics on the pistol, right? For me to figure out that if I try to do the left-handed with the red dot sight on the pistol, I'm gonna be seeing 3 targets and I have to pick one. I mean, that's a pretty scary proposition,
You want to figure
and
out,
I know internet will make some comments about that, but hey, God bless you guys.
and you have to figure out and pick them on cardboard before it's the middle of the coffee shop. Like,
Yes.
that's not something you
Yes.
want to find out.
Yes.
Like, I picked the wrong one.
Yeah, so when people go, like, well, Sonny is just this, he's an old fart. He's approaching 60, now I'm 56, assholes. You know, he's gonna stay the old ways with the iron, with the iron sights and all that stuff. There is a reason for it, and I still, like I told you guys both, when you were going over your material for the optics of the pistol, I'm like, I want to play with shit until I reach truly the wall. I cannot punch through it, and I go like, this is as far as I can go with it. And it was cool to watch students experimenting with concepts, of their own, right? Where they found their own suck and they go like, hey, check this shit out, right? And they pushed further, Yeah, like Clem after 2.5 weeks here, I mean, he was on his last leg.
Yeah.
Like literally.
So I have his suitcases. I have to give to you
He left the suitcases.
because he sends us a text when we were eating last night.
He forgot.
He said I'm all packed up on my way back to Austin.
Except suitcases.
And yeah, so it all very neatly packed up. Just the putting them in the truck part,
Hey Clem, you have a T-shirt coming your way, brother.
So,
Are you all packed?
Yeah.
Are you packing?
Well, he packed his bags. He just
But
didn't
left them.
bring them with.
so on this topic of words have meaning and definitions, it was like I talked with Sonny about how I've lost faith in people using the word professional because I've seen it mean so many things. But without off that topic, because we had a discussion on that, and you drove home the point that you were just saying, don't let other people take away from the meaning of a word. Man with a capital M, man in all capitals. What is the definition of a man?
Yeah, that's a good one. And I know we will not give the answer, nor do we can lay claim that we know the answer. But I will take a very shallow stab at that. It's a lot more than what we see on most shooting ranges.
Holy shit!
It's a lot more than what we see on internet, on Instagram, on YouTube, the way people try to put each other down. It's a lot more than that. how fucking reactive we are. We're teaching people in the violence realm, right? Don't be impulsive to violence. Control your senses, control your emotions. Don't be emotional. This is a fucking job, right? It's not it's not a vengeance, Don't forget what it says in the book, vengeance is mine. He doesn't say don't do violence. He says don't be vengeful.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
and this is one of those things where I go to these to these environments, whether it's internet or live, right? And I see a lot of, and people go that this is, I'm throwing this out as an insult to a lot of guys out there. It's not an insult. It's a statement, and the statement is that there's a lot of males. They are grown in size. They wear clothes of scary males that run in dangerous places doing questionable things with tools that can cause great harm. Okay, but if I magically could do poof and all of that came off, it's babies in diapers. You know what I mean? They are not emotionally stable. They give in to anger quickly. They want to spit shit back out because somebody said something. You know, so that discipline, be careful with your tongue, right? Be careful before you allow that tongue to express what's in here. So be careful what you think, because somebody said, like, no one should ever train with Sonny Puzikas because this happened 13 years ago. You know, am I denying that something happens in my head when I hear and read that, which is, a couple of times a week? I'm not denying that. Do I have a desire to spit back? I do. What is it going to do? It's not just about what good I put out, What is it going to do to me? Not for me, but to me. How is my character going to develop? How I'm going to be able to, when student does something, another instructor says something, to control myself because I go like, oh, it's against me. No. If I want to make it personal, it's about me. It will be personal about me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a statement of something. Why he has a dislike towards me? Because he heard this, he heard that, he heard that. It's fun to join the group of 10,000 haters. You know what I mean? You belong to something much bigger than yourself.
we've been that too.
I think
Every one of us.
I think for certain things like that, I see an importance. So, past lives, right? I worked in the hotel. I was in charge of responding to anything bad or any comments that were put on the internet about us. And I took a stance of not answering that person, but providing information for other people who are going to see that question to give an answer that showed what they could expect should they interact with us.
Yeah.
So I think maybe like having a
Yeah.
response or some type of something that you take the time to write once,
Yeah.
and be able to just leave it and drop, not get sucked into the follow-on nonsense, because if someone does act professionally, other people will be able to see that. So if it just has a negative comment of your name or your methodology or whatever the thing is, you can have a Rolodex of some responses that then someone not really dog in the fight yet, don't know what to think, instead of them just seeing that
Reactivity.
that they can see some type of response to it and go, and at least that gives them now information where they can weigh one against the other and see the nature of the person who left this versus the nature of the response.
And the nature of response is also is this, like I take an example, and I'm gonna do it separately, and not because Andrew asked me. Actually, Andrew asked me not to. But at some point, I'm gonna do a live response to a certain individual who posted a very educational video about what Andrew said about this or that topic, and he came out there with his, group something, the group of one or the group of 10 fingers. Again, not to be facetious and and sarcastic or whatnot. But you know where I saw the change? Yeah, I saw a little bit heated exchanges, and then what he said about James and things that he said about other things, and some statements that we can ridicule, but this is not what we're here for, and maybe we shouldn't even ridicule it. Dissect it, question it, yes. Ridiculing it, not.
The message, not the man.
Yeah,
Right?
but the thing about it is that you look at that, and all of us as instructors in this new culture, I think what should we reflect how quick we are to sarcasm, critique, mocking others, belittling others, pretty much punching them in the gut to jump on their shoulders to be above them. Instead, developing a discipline of, and then the wise man said nothing. It's hard, but I was talking to Andrew this morning, and some of the things, between some of the other things we talked about, I'm like, dudes come to us for skill and knowledge. But if you think on some level dudes don't look and don't see maturity, wisdom, self-control, discipline of your emotions, I would submit to you these are all traits of pretty fucking strong men.
Or they may see. I'm not always on point with all of those, so they may see.
None of us are.
Right?
None of us are.
So
It's a struggle.
That's the point.
Yeah,
It
is a struggle. It's something that we try and show that struggle. That's why I started the becoming Elcar stuff.
Not being
like,
Elcar.
Let's struggle together.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's the thing in classes like this, like we had this weekend. It was cool because war belts or vests or helmets or pretense were magically somehow ripped off, and the king was naked. And everything that sucked about you within the parameters of the class was pretty much in the open for everyone to see. You couldn't hide it. You couldn't bullshit. You couldn't. And the thing about it is nobody cared. I mean, care in the sense that, like comparative this and that. Oh, I'm shooting better than Clem. Or this guy is like, like my transitions are crisper than that guy, It was all work, right? Hey, how you do this? That was it. It was fucking productive exchange. If we could rebuild culture in that spirit, where, I mean, between three of us, we don't agree fucking on everything. No. Far from it. I mean, shit, until the last year of his life, James, we were moderate friends, according to him. We had very dysfunctional marriage, which started with my statement to James that I disagree about 80% of what he teaches, and then we exchanged vows and rings, and so it's not about that.
Jose wants to know where we are.
Jose, we in Jacksonville, Texas, inside the coffee house called Postmaster's Coffee House. And any of you that come visit us in Jacksonville, this is kind of like an asked for plug. We do have two awesome coffee houses here. So when you guys are in town for training or whatnot, yes, there is fucking Starbucks, but then there is Postmaster's Coffee and Neighbor's Coffee, which are incredible locally owned businesses. So
they even have it labeled men's and women's for the restaurant.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
There is no mixed gender restrooms. They actually
There's
show
no confusion.
If you have things hanging, you go this way. If you have place where things can be inserted, you go that way. And did I say something wrong?
No.
It's my Russian accent. Forgive me. So, all right. Well.
Yeah, and Tony Gallo.
Tony Gallo said, "Bring me iced coffee." Yeah, Tony. I'm not going that way until probably July, so it's going to be a while, my brother.
And he's saying self-discipline, introspection, were his largest takeaways from Fear Inoculum. Thanks again, Sonny. Yeah, I mean, introspection might be the only one you need, because that'll let you know if you're really doing that right if you have some self-discipline, right? And all the other things you're going to need to work on. That introspection piece is a linchpin that's hugely important. And then Tom Hollaby had thrown in there, we were talking about code of man or fighting men.
Of course, he learned something from Musashi.
Yeah, well, he said he'll stick with Bushido and chivalry. I've never met Tom yet, so I don't know him well enough to kind of rag on him on it. But but yeah, I mean Bushido and chivalry, they're codes of conduct. I think they're a good start point.
I think it does go deeper. I think it does go back further. When when they say we are created in His image, everybody thinks, oh, okay, so remember the end of His image, Him on the cross. That's the end of His image. You created in that one too. Just like a light thought for your afternoon tea time and shit. I know I should be like a motivational speaker, to rile everybody up and the war cry to excellence, right? Yeah, well, excellence happens when cross is heavy enough that reminds you to take a fucking knee every now and then. That's when excellence happens. Without it, if you're looking for easy peasy, little journey down the happy fields of purple flowers, we're not the same. You're not like us. Man, we should have filmed the video.
They not like it. What was that song? They not like us, something like that.
I couldn't understand any of the lyrics.
I actually educated myself. I actually went on the internet and I found some like lyrics from what's his name, Kendrick Lamar. He's actually deep, man. He's like autistic with the way he writes.
That's the song where he blatantly calls Drake a pedophile.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, blatant
Okay.
in his face.
Like,
He goes like,
those words.
yeah.
All right, send me some of the stuff. I don't know him yet.
Yeah.
He actually has like, my son Nick, his friends, they love Kendrick Lamar and they listen to him. So I'm like, to be kind of with times, I'm just going to read some of the lyrics. I'm not a big hip hop person, and even if I was, this new hip hop is not my way. To me, it's like, if it's a hip hop, give me the old Dr. Dre, yeah.
Actually, very recently, I was in class with a gangster rapper.
Is that right?
Very cool guy. I liked him.
Oh, we actually had a gangster rappers coming to SRF. Those were cool
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
They were white gangster rappers.
Yeah, a lot of, and this is
They were
where
pretty cool.
kind of like going inside the different circles and stuff, like just within race, right? Like there's not enough black people in our circle.
It's true.
And so like
True.
the cool thing with like talking to him is he was a gangster rapper, and he's been through a different path than we have. There is a lot of violence on the path that he went through, but he is one of us. It's just like we haven't met yet.
Yeah.
Until then.
Yeah.
The guy was awesome, and he is doing positive things. He is being a good man and a good Christian.
And I think sometimes it happens. It's this is the freaking, it's a wild thing. The division that's being artificially put in. Like we had the summer of mostly peaceful brotherly love, right? Of all the riots and all that stuff. It's interesting how system made it about race while it wasn't at the beginning. You know what I mean? But it's almost like someone, I know it's a fucking conspiracy theory, like someone is trying to go like, this would be no good for us who pull the strings if these black dudes and these white faces kind of looked at us and go like, you guys are the problem.
Yeah.
That would not be a good day for them.
Yeah.
And then many in our circles, they fall into that because they go like, well, now it's my time to support the police, no matter what they do. If they are shitty policing, if they are, and that's what we're going to talk about. That black lady being shot with the water, right?
Yeah.
And that's also not just mindset, but how you think, right?
Yes.
But coming back to the race and not having black guys, again, people go like, well, I haven't seen too many, like gay guys coming to your classes. Like, do you approve of gay lifestyle? I'm like, I don't approve of gay lifestyle. No, I'm an Orthodox Christian. Will I refuse to teach a gay guy who needs to protect himself, even if he's supporting Kamala Harris? No, I will not refuse that. Now, if he comes in demanding that I call him fucking whatever pronouns and all that and show him respect for his imaginary pronouns, he's gonna see the middle finger, and if it hurts his feelings, so be it.
Yeah.
So be it. You know what I mean? I don't have to love what you do. You're still my brother.
Yeah.
You're still my brother.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Like get back on the firing line.
Yeah, press the
You.
trigger, hit the
You.
hit.
Hello, you, instead of hello, sir. So that we had, there was a question that came up, or something I wanted to touch on here.
Hey.
Tap Rack Rich, hey, how you doing?
Rob, we love you.
So-
Can't wait to see you again.
Rob Green is there. Tony Gallo, what's up, gangster?
Hey,
All right,
Carly
son, drive safe, brother.
said she
Sorry,
wanted-
we're gonna be doing some hugs here, so.
All right, fine.
Drive safe.
I'll get
Carly, you said you would pay to see the video. What video? And then was it? I thought I saw something
Get a fire
from
extinguisher.
Jason.
I need it. Yes.
Oh, Jason Rockport.
Jason
Maybe it's
Rapport,
not.
maybe he's not watching on YouTube.
Of who needed it. It might be you.
Saying, remember, Jesus was
$36 you can get it.
willing to flip tables and crack whips, right? So yeah, there is that.
Yeah,
And-
but
and-
he was also more forgiving than any of us will ever be.
right,
You know, and that's one of the big lessons to learn, you know.
and that's a hard line to find.
It is.
I was trying to get there with Father Barry, and we were having a discussion this morning, actually, you know, kind of continuing that on. Like, all right, when is it time where he wasn't forgiving those money exchangers in the temple? You know, that, like, they had their chance. It was time for him to go back, make a whip, and come back. And I can't wait for the new season of Chosen for that.
Well, it's like, unless I misheard, I think you guys are kind of along the lines of what Sonny said, I believe, yesterday of God created us in his image, and it's, you know, God also flooded the whole earth.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you know, and, you know, there's a saying somewhere that says God is a jealous God. And I think a lot of people misunderstand what it's meant by jealous. He's not jealous about, you know, he's jealous about his creatures, his children, not reaching potential that he has given them. That's a betrayal. And I believe that's one thing that is unforgivable is betrayal. And when we're not training to become better men, the best we can be, as close to his image as we can be, we are betraying our creator. We are betraying our father. You know. So for all of us instructors and students, you know, when you're quick to respond and make fun of somebody, when someone comes in and asks you a question about fucking XD gun, and you go like, "Get the fuck out of here, you stupid bitch," you know what? Weren't you at some point a stupid bitch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
The more I think about it, the stupider I realize I currently am.
Well, that's the thing, you know. That's actually, it comes, you know, that contradictory thing. The wiser you become, the more you understand how stupid you are. You know, that is the real definition of wisdom. You know, the more skilled you are, the more you realize how much you don't know and how much more you need to go.
Yep.
You know, but that is giving. That's the essence of giving up. Nowhere does it say in the faith that you give to the side, that you give down, you give back, give up.
And
That's the direction.
that's the thing that makes me love our circle so much. Is like a thing I tell my students, like a really good class, you'll go in thinking you know all this, realize you only know this, but then there's
you're
so
okay
much more to learn.
But you're okay with it, and you don't feel like you've been belittled. You almost feel like, I found out how little I know. What a fucking blessing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's the weirdness that I see in this new circle versus the old industry, where this very guarded, you know, like, don't hurt my my grandiose image that I put out there, and don't belittle me. Don't chip off for what I want world to believe about me, right? And that's pride. And pride cometh before the death.
Dylan, good to see you on here, bro. I hope to see you soon.
Tony, another good comment. He said, I was a king until I went to Jacksonville. Now doing my best to be a humble servant.
Yeah.
God bless you, brother.
So,
God bless you.
like, one of the guys in the industry, Eric from Barrel and Hatchet, he is one that I really want us to connect more with. I'm hoping I'll get to see him this Sunday. Like how you bring faith into class. He doesn't do it in the middle of class, but at the end, what he talks about, his journey through faith, is moving. It is impactful, and that's one of the things that, like, I see him trying to. He is trying to serve that way.
That's good, man. That's one of the things. Like with John John Lowell, right, from Warrior Poet Society. I don't know very much about his material. I mean, I met him in a few places. We actually had a great exchange. He's homeschooling his two boys. Him and his wife were speakers at one of the homeschooling conferences that me and Megan went to. We had a nice exchange. He gave me one of his books. He autographed it for Nicholas, and so it's pretty cool. And even if I disagreed 100% with what John is speaking, as far as training, right? Again, I know very little, so I have very little to say about it. What I heard, I go like, yeah, we probably would be at the similar ratio with James Yeager. 80%, 20%, yeah, it's okay, right? And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping John is fine with that too. But he doesn't hide that thing where he goes like, my faith is for me. No one needs to know. I don't want to antagonize people that may be out of different faith, or they are agnostic, or they want that separation. You know what you're doing? You don't want to antagonize your public and people paying to you, but instead of that, you're fucking lying.
Yeah.
Let me place a name that has not definitionally collapsed yet. You are a coward, sir. Blunt, painful. I'll ask for forgiveness for using such words when I meet my maker. But to me, this is part of who I have become, and I'm still trying to become. And I don't want people to think that this is something, that this is some kind of a secretive fucking energy shit from somewhere, somehow, or whatnot. No. I'm struggling along the path. I have inner battles with addictions, of whatever addictions they may be. No, I'm not using drugs. I'm not addicted to alcohol. None of that, But addictions come in many forms. Sometimes it's addiction to overwhelm other people while they speak, to throw in your 2 cents. Sometimes it's addiction to cause controversy. You know what I mean? These things can become addictive, and all of them control you in a way. So I like what's happening now. For now, our relatively small circle is that dude's starting to talk about it. Dude's starting to look at it as this is more than just a gun culture. This is culture. In Mother Russia, there is a saying, one of the biggest insults you can say to any person, whether it's man or woman, is "Ty nekulturny," you are uncultured. That's like one of the biggest insults. So, I think the man culture would be a good thing for all of us to pursue. For all of us. And no, that would not exclude ladies, because I think ladies very much, if they are true ladies, not some stuff that we see running around, but we should pray for them too.
Yes.
But without banging on our chest like the t-shirt I was wearing yesterday, toxic masculinity, define toxicity. Toxic to what? If it's toxic to satanic shit, if it's toxic to pedophilia, if it's toxic to emasculating the boys, if it's toxic to making men not care, I will be the toxin. gladly, proudly, and I'll pray for more dudes to become toxic in that way. So, do we have any other questions from the viewers or whatnot? Man, see, my original plan was we're going to talk a little bit more about what happened in the class and all that shit, right? And it got derailed. It's all about this. Just blood orange tea is what it is with extra honey.
Well, I mean,
And just I just want to throw something out for the if there's anybody a little bit dense watching, because you were talking about John Lovell and
Yeah.
then transferred into people who may not wear their faith on their sleeve being cowards. That was not calling John Lovell a coward because he has the balls to put it out there and forefront.
And actually, I'm not even calling the coward those because I know there are some good instructors that do have faith, but they keep it very private. And again, you know what I mean? What is your motivation? Only you know. I don't know your motivation. Maybe your motivation truly is that you truly believe that your faith is. It's kind of like your relationship with your wife, right? Intimate relationship. It stays in the bedroom. It's no one else's business, right?
yes.
Right, or maybe they don't put it out very much publicly because they're scared of turning people away, but they're using that as a tool to get those people in their door.
Yep.
Where they can speak about it, right? Get your toe in the door, show them your foot size later.
Hey guys, I have an
Right.
AK class, and then we do 24 hours of push-ups, kind of thing.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. James told people to bring 1,000 rounds so they could listen to the mindset lecture.
Yep.
Yeah, so again, if you are a little dense and you think it's a blanket statement that everyone who doesn't walk in with the cross to start their class is a coward, you should not be pissed about my words. You should re-examine your ability to think through things and not get to conclusions before you allow this muscle to work. But if you're that dense, I mean, maybe it's not time for us to talk because you will get butthurt and you'll think that it's my words and that's not between what's your ears that hurt you. And it's fine. It's fine. I'm still gonna pray for you, and I hope someday we can speak, meet, and do things and do things. So anyway, what I wanted to bring because I thought Andrew mentioned to me, I've heard about the incident, but I haven't watched the incident. So apparently there was an incident. You can describe it better.
Yeah.
About that cop who shot the black lady in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
so, what I'm saying is what I'm recalling from memory. So I would advise you to watch the video yourself. Okay? But basically, a black woman had called the cops because I think she thought someone was outside her house. And so she ended up bringing them in, and they're having an exchange, and it wasn't like a solid positive exchange going on, but eventually she was like, I gotta get my hot water off the boiling stove, and the cop said something, and she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and he said, you better fucking not, drew his pistol, and the context I understand is that he shot her so that he didn't get boiling water. So he didn't get boiling water on him.
So when Andrew told me the story, as I said, I haven't heard any of the details. I just heard that there was some kitchen incident, whatever, and the black lady got shot by a cop. Right? Like to me, again, maybe I'm a really sick person, but like instant thought to me, okay, is the lady a danger or is that hot water a danger? If you can shoot the lady, could have not you put 3 holes into that fucking pot of hot water? Probably she would get scalded by that water slightly, and then you put the cuffs if you need to, and you resolve the situation. Now you put that out there in the internet, bunch of dudes are gonna go, that was a good shoot. No, it was a shitty shoot.
Yeah. I try and stay from really hard to try. Let me say that.
You don't always succeed.
Correct. Very much. Very much I fail to succeed in this, but I very much try to stay from Monday morning quarterbacking or
Right.
hindsight being
Yeah.
2020, any type of
Mhm.
scenario. stuff
Dissection,
like that.
dissection, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
some of them are fairly clear cut.
Yeah, someone holds the kid at the
Yeah,
gunpoint,
there's-
pushing in the car. Okay.
Yeah,
We're all on a different path.
but reactions and for a 90-second video clip or badge cam that the audio kicks on 30 seconds after the camera's activated, and like that kind of stuff is so hard to put yourself in someone's shoes. We don't have the smells, the sounds, the everything. The context is missing.
Good.
So the
Yep.
same way that I would try and do, I see a 30-second clip of a guy with 6 targets in the warehouse full of tires, and he's
Or a guy sees one
like,
picture.
hey, let's wait a minute before we judge
Yeah.
what he's doing. We don't know the context of what he's working on,
Mhm.
right? And
Damn, Lewis is becoming a nice dude or something.
Well,
Hold on, let me replace this.
It's like we're not him, and I was like, I don't want to be a cop.
mhm. and we see him force on force.
Yeah.
A lot of shots in the hand because people are looking at the gun or looking at the knife.
Mhm. And
we
we've
see-
made bad decisions enforcing
right.
force.
Yeah, we've made those bad decisions, and that's under an adrenaline dump of this much. We don't know the psychotic person that 3 days ago started saying, in the name of Jesus, I am going to try and stab you with the screwdriver. We don't
Yep.
know any of that stuff. So I'm not saying one way or another. 100%, I've not seen this video. I'm not defending what was done or anything. I think we all
So what you're saying?
may have a tendency to
So what you're saying? We're not going to start a channel of reactions.
Right.
well,
I think we should have reactions. Any shooting, any violence happens anywhere in the world, we'll get together from 3 separate cameras and we'll do those reactions.
I think there's dissection that can be done and questions to be asked. Like you saying that, can you shoot that pot of water?
To me, it was not just about the outcome itself.
Right.
To me, it was more of a mindset. What happens with gun people? You were in the knife class.
Mm-hmm.
When people pick up the knife, I must stab. When people pick up the gun, I must shoot another person. I mean, the locking into a target. I think the concept of a target needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, instead of the target, what is your fucking purpose?
Right.
I mean, this is where I'm looking for a change. As far as, this is not, I don't know, that lady may have been, who knows, and we don't know the cop's background. None of that shit matters. To me, it was really more of an example of how quickly we fall not only in the tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, but tunnel thinking to problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a gun, my thinking happens between the trigger and the end of the barrel.
Mm-hmm. And what about conflict management?
There's that, right?
Could some of that have happened before she ever was near the pot of water?
I wasn't gonna do any plugins for any of my classes or whatnot, but
So I mean, we all kind of laugh, in the gun culture, gun community, when someone says, "Oh, why don't you just shoot the knife out of his hand?" Right? But here we are saying that a good thing you could have done was shoot a pot of water out of someone's hand. So there's all these dichotomies that roll through all of this. The only thing we can do is ask questions to provoke thought. I don't think there's clear ways that you could judge, right? Again, and we're not really supposed to be the judges.
Yeah. If I may, the thought of that video came to me this morning. I don't know if you saw me outside pacing with a cigarette. That's what was in my brain. And when I saw that video, it was, there's a couple big things that were going on in my brain as far as philosophy and those have evolved further since then. But number one, what can you live with? The evolution now I'm at is whatever decision you make, you have to live with and you have to die with. Now, today, after the conversation I had with Sonny this morning, whatever decision you make, you have to answer to him with.
Every single word.
The other part of
Without
that
exception.
is on a training philosophy. You were so, like, think about this. Are you not able to move out of the way of water?
Well, and again,
And yes,
so-
there's a million things that go into it.
So
But-
I'm guessing there was a disparity of race in that one.
Yes.
There was,
So if we take that variable away, we can go to the other video that we saw earlier in the week, where it was what could be looked at in 30 seconds. If I told you that this white woman had a white cop and had his mic cord wrapped around his neck a few times and was hitting him in the head with his own baton.
Yep.
Right? And he ended up shooting her.
Yes.
Most people, if we look at that clip, good shoot,
You know my opinion about it.
right? But if that's the part we analyze, right? Did she have intent, ability, and opportunity for lethal force?
Yes.
So, good shoot. Was it, when we look at totality of circumstances?
Did he had an opportunity, possibility, paid by taxpayers' money to become fucking good at his job?
He sure did.
Right?
Yeah.
Did he?
So in
No,
the totality
did
of
he-
circumstances,
Did he, though?
led
He
to
didn't.
right. So that led to
Yes.
what in
His-
totality I'm going to call that a bad shoot. He probably isn't going to get arrested for it
No.
because in that moment,
Strictly by legal terms and operating procedures and what's what police or law enforcement is allowed to do.
it's a black and white good shoot.
No, good shoot, right?
She was.
to me,
he
it's a
couldn't.
serious shoot.
He couldn't breathe, and he's getting beat in the head, and so it's a good shoot. But when
My question is why he couldn't breathe. Why is he getting hit on the head?
Yep.
It's a woman. Not to say that some women cannot produce violence or whatnot, but I'm sorry. As a man going into law enforcement profession to serve and protect, I'll go further. Any man, if you have two testicles and even one and a dick, part of your job is be competent to deal with violence. Be in the best shape you can possibly be. And if you're there, get better. That is a job. That is your fucking cross to carry. Sonny, it's hard. Good. You were put on this earth to bleed more so others bleed less. Swallow it, take it, own it, move on. It really is that simple. So when people go like, well, that cop was older. He was, 130 pounds overweight. Older, get it. Don't have control over it. Okay? 130 pounds overweight? Well, but he has a heart disease. I'm sure heart disease came out of nowhere, right? He had no choices in what he eats, how many donuts each morning. I know it's cliches and now I'm making fun, being sarcastic asshole.
even still, one shove,
Yes.
one shove
Yes.
would have changed the dynamics of
Yes.
that. So
She's beating with the baton, grab her by the hair, pull her in, give her a couple stiff elbows. She'll be out.
and that's the thing. We have that, 10 minutes of video
Yeah.
that we can say that was clearly a bad or an unnecessary shoot, right?
Yep.
Completely unnecessary.
It was a murder.
Yeah. So,
By all means, if you look at it biblically, it was a murder. But he was scared for his life. Why?
yeah. And so again, sorry, that was a long tangent.
No,
just
it's
say,
okay,
like,
man.
When we
We
analyze
just
these
increased our
things-
viewership because somebody shared it. They go like, they're anti-cop. Look at this. And all of a sudden we have more viewers.
Yeah.
So maybe we should talk more shit about stuff like that because we're going to start seeing, some real haters coming in. And, when haters come in, that's when it works.
So I
That's
think
when it works.
I think a big lesson within this and a point that we were getting at with the whole live stream is being better students, in the sense that, did he have the opportunity to learn to be prepared for that? That's a cultural thing, not just a department thing. Have we analyzed past experiences or let those lessons dissipate and forget them?
Yeah.
I know for myself, I've been in positions to kill people where I could have gotten away with it. I've also been in positions where I almost killed someone, and it would have drastically negatively affected my life, and I have no idea where I'd be at now. And I know, like, I have friends who have killed the wrong person, and they are suffering right now from it. And that is within the shooter fighter matrix. That is way more on the fighter side. It's like I made that mindset meme of mastering the fundamentals is a great way to avoid learning what's important. Fundamentals.
You caught some heat on that, didn't you?
Oh yeah. And I, and
Actually, wasn't that a response from our guy from the group that he made a video? Wasn't that about that?
He did.
Yeah. Well, all that. But here's the thing, like, the how versus the why, and again, like, analyzing the past experiences instead of being an NPC, instead of making a meme and jumping in with everyone else. Like, all right, so, and I was an NPC when the Acorn cop, when that happened. My first thoughts were just like everyone else's, Then I got some more information from people who are connected to that guy, and I learned more, and I shut the fuck up. And people are still, and you know what? It's like there's certain things where it's like, when you find out the truth instead of trying to be right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that go into it, but the biggest thing culturally is trying to push to be a better student. Trying to not just within the how to instruct, how to do the thing, but the broader scope of it. And it's like, another thing, I didn't come up with it, but it's like, imagine we vote in all the best politicians into America, the most perfect men there are. It won't matter with how we are.
Yep.
So
start from the bottom, guys. Start from the bottom, and I think we are way overdue to recreate, to give a rebirth to the culture of men. And if you guys agree with that, we love it. If you guys disagree with that, we'll pray for you. Not in the sense that, poor souls, they're too stupid to understand. No. You are brothers, you are sisters. It's all good. But we're gonna work. We're gonna work to bring the culture of man back. And yes, that's gonna involve working it through the violent training. There will be push-ups, there will be guns, there will be knives, there will be darkness, there will be other things.
Maybe fist and feet too.
Every now and then I may throw a couple of things in there. Clem is still limping around somewhere in Austin. So it's all good. Join us on this journey. It's going to be fun. These two gentlemen here, I've known Andrew a little bit less than I've known Lewis. These are my brothers. A lot of people going like, dude, you've been teaching just about as long as Andrew has lived, right? And so what? Yet yesterday and Saturday when Andrew is teaching, I'm like, let me fucking go there on the side and check this shit out. And then Lewis looks at my target, he goes like, dude, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm seeing like 3 circles and shit like that, I was trying to shoot left eye, when you were talking about training your eyes.
Yeah.
And my left eye is so...
Yeah, and
I'm not going to go into explanations. That's going to be my personal journey for the next couple of months after I unload all the small targets from the truck.
To be clear, I don't have the courage to quite walk up and go, dude. It was more like, hey,
Well, his face spoke the
I-
language.
I was like, what's going on? You know, what are we working on here?
I've been around this rodeo. When someone walks up to me and go like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" That's like, dude, or that's like, shit.
So I wanted to ask you about it. We'll get into the question later. I want to ask Jaeger's daughters about it too. But like Jaeger used to say, he believes that God put him here to do this, right? And I've listened to the Christian.
Jared Markle and I talked about that on a podcast as well.
Okay, you'll have to send it to me. I'll listen to it. But so Jaeger said that, and then I've been hearing it on Christian podcasts that like God will like be like, if you try to do something off of the path you should be on, it's just gonna dead in the water. It won't happen for you. And so I was asking Sonny about it too, because I'm like, man, I try to listen and like try to listen to my parents about go be an electrician, go to HVAC school, and it's like it doesn't click in my brain, but this thing does. So I almost wonder if God won't allow you to see the sights I do, the way I do, so that you continue being amazing at the things that you do.
Yeah, because
right
I'm going
now.
to become a better shot than you are, and then I'm going to go like, fuck the push-ups. I'm just going to shoot you.
It might be.
And
Might be.
And it's a challenge for our open-mindedness, right? Because if Sonny sees a limitation because of something with his vision, I don't think he's going to tell his students, get it off of your gun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's going to say, for me, here's what I'm dealing with and what works best. If you would like to try something with the optic, go talk to this dude or that dude, or that kind of stuff, right? So it's also a challenge of being humble enough to know our own limitations.
Yes, absolutely.
And to be able to help guide people along the path to get to where they need to go for the information they seek. And Frank had a comment. He said, better trained, it makes better decisions. I'd say better thinkers, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like
that's coming back to what Travis Hale is saying.
Take it
thinkers,
down.
Thinkers before shooters. I would say thinkers before fighters, not just shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Something else.
Good thinkers makes good fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Something else Travis talks about is he teaches his students compassion.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
The way he put that.
I've seen a lot of really positive things from Travis.
He's violent only out of compassion.
Yeah.
He had no hate for the dude who broke into his house, right? Or, in a scenario that he was describing. But he had a lot of love and compassion for his family that was in that house.
Okay. So,
and Tom Hollaby, post your bill drills.
Hey, Tom.
Do a live.
Tom, with all due love.
So, all right, Sonny, here's a question, and I've been learning from students on this. I've been asking this in class.
Should I be
and
nervous now?
And there's something I'm leaving out right now, but I've talked with you about this before, but we'll just ask this question. Emotion, where does it apply to a fight? Should you be emotional in the fight? Should you not? Where does it come in?
All right. So that's a rabbit hole, dude. That is really a rabbit hole, but I'll try to make it very short because you motherfuckers have to go home. It's already like 2:20 or something. Yeah. You guys were planning to leave at noon and drive home.
And
maybe
Megan probably wants you back.
No, I told her I'm vegetable. She's only pissed that I'm doing this because she goes like, you were supposed to be in bed, not moving.
Yeah, that was an excuse, and this list is growing.
I know, right?
Emotion,
but that's emotion in the fight. I think emotion in the fight comes in for. I'll give you two reasons. One is because, for one, you are not trained enough to understand that this is not a fight. This is a job. If you did your job right, you tried to avoid it, you tried to de-escalate it, you tried to walk away, and you failed in all of that. Okay? This is the next stage in your job. Okay? You removed this part, you tried to put this part, you tried to fit this part, it didn't work. Now it's a hammer time. Does it change when you take the hammer during your carpentry? Because this is the only violent part, you know what I mean? Otherwise, you're measuring things, you're putting things together, right? And then you take the hammer and do you hit that nail with hate? No, you hit it with accuracy, precision, in exact the spot that it needs to be to do the job that it's supposed to achieve, right? No more, no less. Would you argue that point? No. So why do people make fight emotional, right? We're scared. We have fear. Why do we fear? We fear what we don't know, and we don't know what we don't know. That's a very easy connection. Why you don't know what you don't know? Because you don't train what you don't want to train. You don't train outside of your little com- comfort blanket area, whether it's performance shooting, whether it's your kung fu wushu or sistema or whatever else it is. You're staying within your blanket because it makes you feel good. Nothing undresses you naked to show you where you suck. And that only builds the pride. When the pride is built, you don't have humility. Without humility, you cannot face fears. And all of that combines to what? You don't have moral compass. So when you get in the fight, you have to rely on your feels and emotions because your moral compass is not in place before the fight started. Now you're going to make emotional judgments, and all of them driven by your fear and unpreparedness, and you're probably going to get it wrong. So people call it, what is a cold killing machine? A man with a capital M who has his moral compass in place prior to the fight, who's not afraid to get naked in training so his suck and his little dingaling is seen by all so he can fix it. Okay? And then he does the job properly. Walk away, talk out, take one on one cheek, don't ask for the other. Okay? Vengeance is his. The job is yours. Vengeance is his. Is that okay?
Yes, but I want to go at least 2 more hours on that subject.
Oh, okay,
Here,
we're gonna have a
wait.
separate podcast
Let-
called the hour. No, 6 hours of autism.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do something at that point.
Or, yeah.
Unleash the red 40.
So something in between Andrew's question and your answer, I kind of caught something in my own brain here, right?
Autism coming does not only come from one side; it comes from the other.
Yeah, and we might be hijacking their word, but so does emotion belong in a fight? Is that what the question was in a singular sentence?
I think so. I think that's pretty much.
Somewhat, but I would keep asking questions beyond
Right.
that. But go ahead and
Okay.
answer your version.
So when we draw our guns, we say stop, right? Or I shouldn't put that out there for the entirety of Earth, but that's James's thought was say stop. When you draw your gun, you give them that last chance to do the thing, right? Attract witnesses, all the reasons we do it. And he said to train yourself to use that word because you will most likely say something. I think, like you just said with Travis Haley, compassion, or whether we use the term love, when you're doing a job, you can hate your way through it. You can love your way through it. Some people love their job. Some people hate their job, right? If we got to chop firewood, I can use that hate motivation of I don't like doing this, and give me some extra muscles, right, to split the wood. Or I could look at it as a labor of love, like that I've heard you talk about dishes when Nick's arm was broken, right? And learn to love doing the dishes, so it becomes a labor of love. I think if we can focus on trying to put that love into the fight, and the reason I'm fighting this person is because I love these innocent people, or I love myself, right?
But doesn't mean hate and love are not opposites. This is what people miss. There are two basic dimensions. It's love or fear.
Mm-hmm.
Hate is the bastard child of fear.
Right. So if we can implant, just like, science is now proving that gratitude and anxiousness cannot exist in the human mind at the same time.
Mhm.
Right. And there's a book, and it talks a lot more on have the gratitude. Good book. You guys should get one.
You should
But-
use gratitude.
But so if these two things cannot exist in the human mind at the same time, that love and that fear, it may work very similarly.
It does. It does. Maybe God willing, someday, we're gonna grow to be really big and have like a 5 hour episodes like Joe Rogan does, and we're gonna put up some good Russian vodka once the sanctions end, and just really dive into this until we all fall off the table, and the podcast's still going, but everyone going like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's over.
Yeah.
This episode is over, right? We'll discuss that. But guys, you need to go home. I need to go. I really don't need to go. I don't. Nick is watching Ari, and Megan is working. I'm resting, so I'm good. Everyone, thank you for being with us. We appreciate this. This definitely weared off what I didn't expect, but I expected that unexpected will happen. You know, with our people in our groups, that's how it always works out. And I think it's a blessing because you know what I mean? It's not scripted, it's not prepared. It's just the king is naked. We speak what we think, and if it's time for corrections for what we say, he'll show us the way if we ask well enough, and that is it. So, Louis, Andrew, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for hanging with me during this weekend and helping with the class. For those of you who may have questions, the class was Shooter Fighter Matrix, deep dive into a shooter dimension within the Matrix. According to our students that were in the class, and so far the vibes that I'm getting from these two gentlemen, that there will be more of this coming. It will be a 3-day class, not a 2-day class, because it is like a freaking trying to put in this teacup, shit that's coming down Niagara Falls. A little bit difficult, if you know what I'm saying. And we will refine, we will move pieces around. We have a lot of data, we filmed a lot, we talked a lot. We have audio recordings of the whole thing, so we'll dissect where people, what needs to be moved around to increase the productivity, to increase the efficiency of delivering the information, and we'll make it happen again. Once it gets out there, I'm pretty sure that at least majority of the students that were in this class will be in that class too, so spots will be limited. It will be more expensive than it was this time because it also will be 3-day class. It will also be better. So once we put it out, check it out.
And
At the same time, Louis,
Yeah.
talk about your business for you got 2 minutes.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna push.
Put the plug. Where
I'm
they
gonna-
can find
I'm gonna-
you and all that.
I'm gonna do a plug instead,
Sure thing.
because I'm being not very capitalistic for myself for the next few weeks.
Why did you?
I'll get loud about that.
Okay.
But I wanted to try and. Is this showing that one?
It's showing the Megan spray.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
that's what you're plugging?
Yeah, right down here, somewhere, right down there. The 47 Maggot orange body spray for men is really good, guys. Like, if you don't have a bottle yet, you should pick one up. It's not very super strong smelling, but it's something. I have it in the door of my truck.
Cool.
Because, like, during the day, working along the day, it's a nice thing on the way to dinner. Go ahead, hit yourself with a couple spritzes.
Should we get one for Tim?
Come on, baby, I smell good.
Yeah,
Come on,
it's not quite strong enough to outweigh the grizzly.
Got
I
it.
don't think.
Got it.
You'll need two.
That might be pearls before swine, But it is great stuff, guys. So definitely pick some of that
I
up.
appreciate that.
That'll be
Louis.
my capitalism.
Yeah, remind me I'm
All right, but talk about your business and what you do. You don't have a choice.
All right. So I have a YouTube channel. starting a company this year called LCAR, Lone Civilian Armed Responder. It's the things that we do, right? So there'll be no fast roping, there'll be no four-man CQB stuff. There's other people who are great at that stuff if you'd like to do it. But lone civilian armed responder. I'm me when I walk around. That's what started me on this path, being able to protect those around me. Um, I don't have Delta experience, but I have been the victim of a home invasion. I have been mugged by multiple dudes on the street in the Bronx. So I come at it from that angle. Everything I do and try and impart on people is from that lens. I have a Becoming LCAR YouTube channel where I've been live streaming workouts. I think it's a very accessible workout format that can be tailored for people no matter where they are on the fitness path. So they can tune in on that. I think Clem and I are going to start doing some Zoom stuff and putting that into and using that for the Becoming LCAR stuff. So you can check me out on YouTube, Becoming LCAR. If you comment on there or send messages through there, I'll get back to it.
Cool. Andrew.
Combat Art Training is my company name. The goals are to save lives, improve culture, and advance the arts. Now, things coming up that I have going on, I'm doing a collaboration with Gary Mar.17 Dynamics. We're doing 3 days, 3 days of force on force, proving rounds pistol, killing fields, and art of the bad guy. So, not a scenario based for the first 2 days. The first 2 days are focused on skills within fighting with guns. Art of the bad guy is scenario based, but it's kind of like we're going to assign roles to each student. Hey, you're the good guy now. Hey, you're a bystander. We need you to do this. You're a bystander. You need to get in the way. And then you're the bad guy. You need to abduct that guy's baby. And none of the other students know what their roles are. So thinking within the realms of if you're not a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath, you get to experience that, get another picture from the other side. And there will be a lot of evaluation going on. That's going on in Pennsylvania with Gary Mark, Travis Dynamics. I'm big into the collaboration stuff. I want that to happen more. The Combat Art Training Summit will be going live, and you will be able to buy tickets soon. If you have trained with one of the people I train with or one of the people who's going to be there, you should hit them up for a discount code because you're going to get a discount, and that instructor will get a little bonus for bringing a student in. At that summit, Lewis will be there, Sonny will be there, Gary of Travis Dynamics will be there, Chuck will be there.
Hopefully Jay, right?
Jay will be there, he just confirmed.
He did? Cool.
Yep. Iron Forge Consulting, Zach Bush, Prepare Patriot, and you'll have the whole list. But here's what's going on at the summit, guys. It's at Taprack
Lewis
Ridge.
just comments. Sorry, guys, I've been holding it for the last 30 minutes. I was actually close to the same boat, but I'm like, breathe, Sonny, breathe. So,
You gotta, yeah. All right. So, what's going on at the summit? Again, September 27th and 28th in Gray, Kentucky, at Taprack Ridge. We're going to have a live fire area, a classroom area, a force on force area that's also a mats area, and then there's going to be an area in the woods. I've already got a bunch of people coming too besides the instructors, but basically there'll be classes going on all at the same time. Gary and I worked out a rough draft of the schedule, and looking at it right now, we haven't filled the whole thing on exactly who's going to be where at what times. But
I think you should keep my spots a mystery. That way people don't know if I'm going to show up in the woods behind them with a fucking painted face.
Well, that's the thing. There will be instructors collaborating together. So, like, Sonny might be with another instructor during his block, collaborating. I'll have someone there during my block collaborating. And the way I've looked at it so far with the schedule, me as a guy who goes and takes a lot of classes, I would want to take this 3 times in 1 year with the exact schedule that's going on because of the way I've set it up. Me as a student, that's what I'm going for with the videos and the classes that I teach. I give you the thing that I wanted. This class, the shooter fighter matrix with a deep dive within the fundamentals, if I had taken that earlier, I would be much further than I am now. CombatArtTraining.com. Watch my YouTube channel. There's over 500 videos.
Cool. All right, and I'm that crazy Russian guy. You know who I am. I'll be back tomorrow with my regular scheduled live stream tomorrow night. I may even talk about books, and things of that nature. I'm not going to be surrounded by these two savages. And Josh is already going like, can you just fucking cut it? I want to go back to Ohio.
You gotta thank the sponsors.
Gotta thank the sponsors, right?
Yeah, your sponsors.
Oh, my sponsors, of course.
Yeah.
That's my dear wife. My dear wife, with the little body spray that Louis did a nice plug. Yes, I do have some other sponsors, and Ammo Supply Warehouse, Butch Becker. We will be making announcements soon how it's going to work and all the other things. But Ammo Supply Warehouse, good place to go get ammunition. Five River Armament, Shinde.
Good dude.
Great dude, good friend, awesome student, comes in, trains hard. He's hurt, he's post surgery, he doesn't give a shit, brings the sun, brings half of Eastern Pennsylvania with him, scares the crap out of this town. They go like, Yankees are taking over us, you know what I mean? So yeah, so Five River Armaments, take a look at them, as well as Iron Pig.
They got 17% off everything today,
Iron Pig.
including
Wow.
the Sonny pistol.
I just heard about it. Iron Pig Armament. Go look right now. Apparently today is the only day that they have 17%. I have a code for 10%. They have 17%, including the rifle that was made for me. Guys, I'm not gonna say it in here, the pricing or whatnot, but believe me when I tell you, it's a freaking steal for what it is. It's absolute, like it's a robbery. It's not even a steal.
He makes good shit. I have one of his uppers.
And the thing about it is that's the rifle that my son Nicholas, when I was shooting on the range, he goes like, Dad, are you okay? I'm like, why? He goes like, you're shooting an AR and you're smiling. So it's true story.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, without pushing any further, we thank you guys for being here. Appreciate listening for us for this long. If you think we said something of value or something that will tickle people the wrong way or the right way, share it. Find these two dudes, support what they do, and may God bless. Peace from East Texas.